Hey, what's up? Ian here, and this is the SIMGOT SuperMix 4. It is a hybrid multi-driver IEM with 4 different types of drivers in here. Retail price for this is $150 US. You can find it on SIMGOT's website. I'll leave an unaffiliated link in the description below. Now, this IEM comes in this fancy box here, mid-tier type of box, very shiny. At the back, you get a frequency graph and also the specifications, which I'll read to you. Impedance is 7.2 ohms. Sensitivity is 120, and the frequency range is 20 to 20,000 hertz. Okay. Now, inside the box, you'll get a carrying case. This is a very typical pill-shaped carrying case. Zipper is of good quality. And finishing outside is some sort of PU leather. It's not real leather, okay? PU leather type of finish. So pretty standard carrying case, and you get ear tips. 3 different sizes of ear tips. I don't know where the other one went to. Oh, it's here. So 3 different sizes of ear tips. The ear tips is actually pretty good in terms of stock ear tips. The inner ball is actually quite firm, and the outer flange here is quite thick. It's not the thickest, it's not flimsy, okay? So I would say it's average, okay? So this ear tips is pretty average type of ear tips. Now, as for the cable, you get a 4-core braided cable terminated with a straight type 3.5 headphone jack. This slider though is a little bit loose for my liking. As you can see, it slides around pretty easily. So when I try to cinch the cables together, it doesn't really stay. So yeah, I wish this chin slider is a bit tighter. Ear hooks is actually pretty normal. It's not too stiff, not too soft, so pretty alright. And it's terminated with 2-pin connector to the IEM. Alright, now the IEM. 4 different types of drivers. You have the dynamic driver that handles the low frequency, and then you have the balance armature that handles the middle frequency, and the planar magnetic and piezo drivers that handles the highest frequency. So 4 different types of drivers handling different types of frequency. Amazing. Okay. The shell of this IEM, the faceplate is actually pretty simple if you ask me. Gray, matte gray finish with a bit of embossing in front, and it's a mid-size type of IEM as compared to the Da Vinci, right? If you look at the Da Vinci is huge as compared to this SuperMix. You look at the size is well, not very much different, but this is thicker and it's bigger as well in terms of size. So it's a mid-size type of IEM. On the inner shell is made of resin with a built-in nozzle, and it's got some curvatures to fit the shape of your inner ear. Okay, it's got a bit of vent here as well for, I don't know, air release. Okay, so that's the shell itself. In terms of fit and comfort, I would say this fits me quite well, better than the Da Vinci. Okay, the nozzle is not too short or not too long, so just nice for my ear canal, and it goes into my ear. And because this shell, right, is not too thick, so it's actually just nice for my ear. I prefer the fit on this and compared to the Da Vinci. Okay, and also the quintet. Quintet is also big in terms of the shell. It's also pretty thick as well. You look at the quintet. So of all 3, right, this fits my ear the best. Okay, right, now let's talk about the performance of this, technical performance of this. Now, in terms of technical performance, right, the resolution of this, I would say, is somewhere in between the Dunu and the quintet. Resolution as in clarity, the overall sound delivery, overall coherence of the drivers, yeah, and all those. So basically, resolution on this is okay, right? In between the Da Vinci and the quintet, I would say a little bit better than the quintet. Not as grainy, and I would say sharp. When it comes to higher frequencies, sometimes the planar magnetic give you that metallic zing. Okay, this one doesn't give you that, but the quintet sometimes does. It's a little bit unnatural. So yeah, resolution is pretty alright for the price. $150 is, by the way, half the price of the Da Vinci. Okay, so now let's talk about soundstage. Soundstage is wide, but not as airy and closed as the Da Vinci. Okay, it's a bit wider than the quintet. The sound separation on this, wow, this is really good. Okay, comparing to the DaVinci is just on par as the DaVinci, and DaVinci is, you know, double the price, but the sound separation on this is actually quite comparable. And I'm surprised when I listen to the this IEM, even though, you know, as a whole, I mean, he listened to the soundstage, and of course the overall sound separation and all that. It may not be overall as good as the DaVinci, but I would say it's almost there. And then when it comes to the sound separation, the instruments and the percussions and the vocals, right, they are all well separated, and the imaging of it is also very precise and very natural to my ears as well. So I would say the overall soundstage, imaging, sound separation is really good for that $150. Okay, now the detail retrieval. Now this will retrieve more details as compared to the DaVinci, but not as much as the quintet. Okay, so it's somewhere, in terms of detail retrieval, it's somewhere in between the quintet and the DaVinci. Okay, so there you go. That's the technical performance of this SuperMix 4. Now in terms of tone and timbre, this has got a bit more texture. In fact, sorry, a lot more texture as compared to the quintet, but not as textured and thick as the DaVinci. DaVinci, so far to my ears, DaVinci has got the thickest texture and overall very warm type of tone and timbre. All right, the thickest and the warmest sound I've heard so far. This SuperMix is somewhere near there, not as thick, not as warm, not as textured as well. But overall, the tone and timbre for this is still fun, it's still warm, it still sounds very natural to me. It's more natural sounding than the quintet, if you ask me. Okay, so that's for the tone and timbre. Now let's talk about the sound signature for this. Let me just show you my graph for this, and let me just bring out the IEMs so that, you know, it's in front of me. I hope you guys can see this graph. It's not getting some glare or reflection, but yeah, so what you're looking at right now is 3 different IEMs. It's going to look messy, but it's 3 different IEMs. And just by looking at this graph, all 3 IEMs are very similar when it comes to tuning, but they sound very different when it comes to the actual analog listen of these earphones. Okay, so I mean, this is a very good example that graph does not measure everything. You cannot measure everything. You can see how the frequencies are being produced by the IEM, but you cannot feel the soundstage. You cannot measure the soundstage. You cannot measure the overall texture and the tone and the timbre of the IEM, right? So looking at this graph, where does this SuperMix stand? So I would say the SuperMix is somewhere in between the DaVinci and the quintet. Okay, it's as warm and textured and dark in terms of treble as the DaVinci, okay, but is a bit darker than the quintet. Okay, all right, first let's talk about the sub. Right, sub bass for this is extended. It's not as extended as the DaVinci, and overall dynamic feel of the driver is not as dynamic as the DaVinci. I can hear it, I can feel it in terms of the sub bass. I can hear it, I can feel it. But for this SuperMix, I can hear it, I can feel it, but not as much and not as textured as the DaVinci. Okay. Now in terms of mid bass, this has less mid bass, so impact to me is not as powerful as compared to the DaVinci. Okay, the DaVinci still gives me that impact and the textured impact that I usually get from this. So it is not as textured and it's not as impactful as the DaVinci, but it is quite comparable. I would say it's still a little bit less impactful than the quintet, but when I listen to the quintet sounds a little bit thinner, yeah, a bit thinner, a bit lighter as well, but it's still more impactful than the SuperMix 4. Okay, now in terms of mids, this one has got the most recessed mids. So in terms of the vocals and instruments, they sound a little bit more relaxed, okay, a bit more laid back as compared to the DaVinci and the Quintet, okay, but still it's almost there. It's like, you know, 2 dB difference, but I can hear the difference, okay. I can hear that the DaVinci vocals, they are a bit more forward, instruments are a bit more forward, same goes for the Quintet as well, and together with the brightness of the Quintet, they sound a bit more prominent in my ears as compared to the SuperMix, okay. The gain to the treble. Now this SuperMix has got the lowest gain to the treble, so it sounds a bit, I would say, shy when it comes to the intensity. It's not as hot, it's not as engaging as well, it's not intense as well. Very smooth type of gain to the treble. So I would say it's a little bit underwhelming as compared to the Quintet. Quintet is all right. It's just nice, but it's a little bit harsh as well as compared to the DaVinci. But this one is the least as compared to the rest over here. So the least peanut gain to the treble. Okay. In terms of the treble, this has got a bit more brightness as compared to the DaVinci. I would say this is just nice. This is somewhere in between the DaVinci and the Quintet. Quintet is a little bit too, for some people, you know, especially where the 8K is. So this one may be a little bit sibilant. If you listen to your tracks for a longer period of time, then this may be a little bit sibilant and fatiguing. The DaVinci is the least fatiguing of the 3, okay, and the SuperMix is somewhere in between. It's got a bit more brightness, a bit more energy, and I would say clarity to the treble, a bit more forward in terms of the treble. So it's somewhere in between, the DaVinci and the Quintet. Again, it depends on your listening preference. If you prefer something brighter, then it's of course the Quintet, but if you want something in between, then it's the SuperMix, okay. And then the roll off to the treble is actually pretty similar to the other 3. So in terms of the airiness and the naturalness of the treble, they sound pretty similar to me, okay. Right, so that's the sound signature of this SuperMix 4, and I would say of all the 3 different IEMs that I've compared here, okay, SuperMix is $150, this DaVinci is $300, and the Quintet is the I think is in the middle, $220. This one, all 3, they are actually very similar in terms of the sound signature. The DaVinci and the SuperMix are actually darker, okay, so this is more forgiving when it comes to harsh and sibilant tracks, and because of that you can listen to your tracks for long periods of time, okay. So very forgiving, very easy to listen to type of IEM. It's similar to the DaVinci, and most genre is quite can be used. You can use this IEM on most genre because it's quite a balanced type of tuning. It's natural sounding as well. There's no odd tuning to this IEM. So I would say, yeah, jack of all trades, but you know, master of none, basically, for this type of IEMs. And you can bring this IEM anywhere. You can listen to it during work, at home. Referencing, not really, you know, when I'm listening, you know, when I'm recording and I'm doing editing, I don't really use this. I use something more reference. But the enjoyment of music, I just want to relax, listen to my tracks, then this is the IEM I can go for. You guys can go for as well. If you have a bit more budget, of course, go for the DaVinci. Yeah, so that's my review and my overall impression of this SuperMix 4 by SIMGOT. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, and also please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. That's it for now. Thank you so much guys for watching, and I'll see you again in my next video. Cheers.